And thank you for bringing us down a little deeper into ourselves and create that space so that we can welcome the really interesting feminine archetype and symbol that we are going to visit with during this session. I first met her when I was in my 20s, hiking in some remote hills in southern Tuscany, in the area that has been inhabited by the Etruscans for a few centuries. And it's an area that has there's a lot of sacred geography to be found in many of these places, many of the hills, and it's full of hot springs and rivers and mountains. The land itself vibrates with energy. And so here I was, hiking around with a friend, and we arrived to this little chapel. And he pointed out at a little carving, a pretty rough carving. I'm going to show it to you. And he asked me, what do you feel? What do you see? And it was so strong for me to look at that very, very symbol. As you can see, it was made by peasants, not by an artist. But I could feel in this image a tremendous amount of power and a tremendous amount of reverence. The interesting thing is that this chapel was actually a Catholic chapel that was probably built between 750 and 820. I'm talking not 1,800, I'm talking about 800. So it's really, really old. And it's definitely not something that you are used to see in the normal iconography of the Catholic Church. The interesting thing, if you could see it really from close by, is that this figure with two legs that are actually a double fishtail was right on top of the entrance door, and it was showing her vulva, her vagina. And in many other places that I have found later on, where she has been represented in churches and chapels, she has been defaced. That particular detail has been taken away because it was considered very blasphemous. Sometimes she has been erased completely from wherever portal or pillar that where she used to be. So the interesting interpretation by Christian mystics is that that symbol meant that whenever you entered into a chapel to meet this new religion, because you have to consider in this particular geographical area, Christianity did not really put roots down until about the 800. So several centuries after it was already being accepted and integrated in other areas of Europe. So the way that they interpreted was that as you enter under the portal and inside the chapel, you are entering into the womb of the goddess. You are entering into the womb of the church. They translated into Mother Church. And then as you are inside the chapel, inside the womb, you are having a deep experience of connection with the divine, and therefore you are rebirth, or something inside of you that is deep into your soul is being given birth. And so you come out of the chapel, out of her vagina, and you are born anew, and you are a new person.